Welcome back to the channel, where every heartbeat of the Dallas Cowboys is felt loud and clear, and where every whisper from the front office to the locker room is analyzed under the brightest spotlight. Today, Cowboys Nation is facing some unsettling updates that could reshape the trajectory of this entire season, if not the next several years. Micah Parsons, arguably the heart and soul of the defense, is at the center of a growing storm surrounding his long-term future with the team. Meanwhile, Trevon Diggs, the dynamic playmaker whose ability to flip a game in a single play is nearly unmatched, has been struck by the injury bug again, and this time the concerns are more serious than ever. And as if that weren't enough to keep fans on edge, swirling NFL trade rumors continue to connect the Cowboys with some surprising names, and not all of them signal good news. So buckle up, because this ride is about to get intense, emotional, and deeply consequential for America's team. Let's begin with the contract extension drama surrounding Micah Parsons. For months now, speculation has been mounting around when the Cowboys would get this deal done. Parsons isn't just a player, he's a defensive weapon, a walking nightmare for quarterbacks, and the kind of generational talent that franchises dream of building around. And yet, as training camp approaches and talks have reportedly stalled again, fans are growing nervous. Sources close to the negotiations say the two sides are far apart on guaranteed money. Parsons wants to reset the market as he should, given his elite production and versatility, but the Cowboys seem hesitant, perhaps wary of the cap implications, especially considering the other mega deals looming on the horizon. The Cowboys front office has historically been cautious with major contracts, sometimes to their own detriment. We saw it with Dak Prescott, where delays cost them more money in the long run. Now they risk repeating that same mistake with Parsons. Every day that passes without an agreement only fuels speculation about Parsons' long-term future in Dallas. Will he grow frustrated? Could this lead to a holdout if things don't progress? These are the kinds of questions fans never wanted to ask. The longer this lingers, the more disruptive it becomes, not just financially but emotionally and spiritually for this locker room. Parsons is a leader, a tone setter. Any doubt about his commitment, whether real or perceived, can ripple through the defense like a silent shockwave. And the timing of all this couldn't be worse, especially with the defense now dealing with a brutal injury update involving Trevon Diggs. Diggs, the all-pro cornerback whose ball-hawking skills have made him a fan favorite, suffered a setback during off-season rehab from his ACL tear last season. Initial optimism had him on track to return early in the season, but multiple insiders now suggest his recovery is behind schedule. In fact, some are even hinting he may not be ready until mid-season or later. The Cowboys have yet to confirm this publicly, but their actions speak louder than press releases. Dallas has quietly worked out several veteran cornerbacks in recent weeks, and there's even talk of elevating some younger, unproven players to get more reps with the first-team defense. This puts tremendous pressure on Darren Bland, who had a breakout season in 2024, to carry the load once again. It also raises serious concerns about depth in the secondary. If Diggs can't come back at 100%, or worse, if he suffers another setback, the Cowboys' pass defense could go from dominant to vulnerable very quickly. And in a conference filled with elite quarterbacks and dangerous wide receivers, that's a terrifying thought. More importantly, from an organizational standpoint, this adds even more urgency to resolve Parsons' contract, because if Diggs is sidelined or limited, the defense will need Parsons at his most motivated, his most disruptive, and yes, his most committed. Now, let's turn our attention to the swirling NFL trade rumors that have only added to the unease. According to multiple league insiders, the Cowboys have been quietly exploring trade scenarios that could involve sending away key depth pieces in exchange for short-term veteran help. One name that has surfaced repeatedly is wide receiver Michael Gallup. Despite his connection to the team and previous contributions, Gallup's role has diminished, and his contract now looks like a cap casualty waiting to happen. Teams like the Patriots and Titans have reportedly reached out, and if Dallas feels it needs help at cornerback or offensive line, Gallup could be part of a package deal to facilitate that. Even more surprising is the chatter involving defensive tackle Osa Odighizuwa, whose emergence last season was one of the brightest spots on the Cowboys' defensive line. Some insiders claim his name has come up in exploratory talks with AFC teams desperate for interior help. Now, this doesn't mean a deal is imminent, or even likely, but it does highlight a certain mindset within the Cowboys front office: aggressive, reactive, and perhaps a bit panicked. And for a team with legitimate Super Bowl aspirations, that kind of energy can be both a blessing and a curse. But not all trade news is negative. There's also growing buzz that the Cowboys are targeting upgrades at linebacker and offensive tackle. One name that keeps popping up is Cunningham, a veteran LB recently let go by the Eagles. Dallas has shown interest in him before, and with Leighton Vander Esch's status uncertain, they may circle back. On the offensive line, there's been light interest in a player like Jonah Williams, formerly of the Bengals, now with the Cardinals. Williams could provide much-needed depth and swing tackle flexibility behind Tyron Smith and Terrence Steele, both of whom have long injury histories. And yet, even as these trade possibilities swirl, fans can't help but feel an undercurrent of instability. Between the Parsons contract standoff, the Diggs injury cloud, and potential shakeups via trades, the Cowboys' offseason is anything but calm. The team entered this summer with sky-high expectations, confident that last season's heartbreak would be the fuel for a championship run. But as we stand here now, that optimism is being challenged by real concerns both on and off the field. Let's not forget, all of this is happening against the backdrop of an NFC that only continues to get stronger. The Eagles still stacked. The 49ers still dangerous. Even the Lions and Packers are ascending. There is no room for error. The Cowboys can't afford a slow start, can't afford chemistry issues, and certainly can't afford to let the Parsons situation drag into the season. Micah Parsons is not just another player. He's the identity of this defense. Locking him up long-term is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones must understand that every week of delay sends a message, and it's not the kind of message you want to send to a young superstar who already knows his value. Meanwhile, the Diggs situation must be handled with total transparency. Fans need to know what's really going on. Is this a minor delay, or are we looking at a significant portion of the season without him? The defense is built around the idea of elite coverage on the outside and pressure up front. Take Diggs out of the equation, and suddenly, offenses have more time, more options, and a lot less fear. That changes everything. And then there's the broader question: is this front office prepared to be bold enough to plug these holes and aggressive enough to truly compete? The Cowboys have spent years building a talented core, and now that core is in jeopardy of splintering at the worst possible time. Will they trade for impact players? Will they prioritize continuity over cap space? Will they finally stop gambling with contracts and start making decisions that reflect the urgency of this moment? These are the decisions that define franchises. These are the choices that separate teams that are remembered from those that are forgotten. The Cowboys have everything they need: stars, fans, a massive platform, and a hungry locker room. But now is the time to prove they have the leadership and the vision to put it all together. So as fans anxiously refresh their timelines, scan social media for updates, and listen for any signs of progress, one thing is clear: this is not just another offseason. This is the moment. This is the window. And whether it stays open or slams shut depends on how the Cowboys respond to this troubling wave of news. Micah Parsons deserves to be paid. Trevon Diggs deserves the time and resources to heal properly. And the fans? They deserve honesty, action, and a plan that shows the Cowboys aren't just hoping to compete, they're determined to win it all. The question now is, will the front office rise to meet this moment? Or will these unsettling developments become the latest chapter in a familiar story of missed opportunities? We'll be watching every step, every update, and every decision, because when it comes to the Cowboys, nothing ever comes easy, but everything matters. And right now, everything is on the line. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to stay locked into every twist and turn of the Cowboys' journey, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you never miss a second of the action. We've got more updates, insider info, and in-depth analysis coming your way every single week. Until next time, stay strong, Cowboys Nation, and let's hope the next headline brings better news.